Know History is proud to support Truth and Reconciliation Week, hosted by the National Center for Truth and Reconciliation. We work with First Nations, Inuit, and Métis to help research their history, to document their stories, and to share their past. We are committed to decolonizing history. We are Know History. Come, get to know us.
Danse, Arnin, hello, my friends and relatives. For those of you that don't know me, I was given the name Pimose Mayangan in the Ojibwe language over 30 years ago. I come from both a Cree and Ojibwe background. I'm located here in Treaty 1 territory, the heart of Turtle Island, and I just want to say welcome to all of you. I'd like to get things started with the song I composed over 30 years ago. I call it my drum song. Thank you very much. Stop waking and ask cometanan. Aho.
Since time immemorial, we've flourished on Turtle Island. This is our home, where we've raised generations upon generations of our children. Our languages, cultures, and ceremonies define who we are and our connection to this land. Great numbers of foreigners started arriving on our shores. Desires for furs drove them deep into our territories. Millions died through diseases that came with them. They also brought their system of education. All the while, our foods were disappearing and our lands stolen. We began to starve. Soon, their network of residential schools stretched from coast to coast to coast. We were forced to attend. They finally closed these schools in the 1990s. By then, generations of us had attended.
We are sorry.
We are still here. These are our stories. We share them with you. Who we are, what we've gone through, and the path that lay ahead.
Bonjour, I am deeply honored to welcome all of you from the National Center for Truth and Reconciliation. I'm here to say to you how important the Education Week is for our youth. It's a time for our youth to listen, to hear, to witness, and to experience our teachings of our people. So I welcome all the presenters that will speak after me. It's also an inspiration for our young people to make sure that their dreams and their hopes are followed. With that, in the Anishinaabe prayer, in my grandmother's words, Agijema do, Giminana Kumigo, and Ashkinma Ishnam Gishawen Chigain, Kiminotsuin, Mimage Miote Betamang, and Ingemish Chigan Kagishminigo is young, and Mishomes Miojaka Tonogagi Gitod, the Bino Jimina, the Kanishim Jimetamot, where Dijio Danan Kagishminigo is young. Nakudamin Waki Gamonchi Baget Namon, Gamonchi Wisna, Kinagamo Gamonchi, Nakudamin Kinagego, Gamishigagi Giton, Gagimijim, Miniguis young, Tishimichimen the Mang, where the Gapion the Sang, Chigonongo Magabin was set to Kinagego, where Dishinigan, Chimichimen the Mang, where Dijio Dana, Kagish Miniguis young, Gagimichi Kinamo young, Hamir Kidong, Mishawan Mishnam, Mishawan Mishnam, Mishawan Mishnam, miigwech, and thank you very much.
Bonjour, good morning. I would like to acknowledge that I am currently speaking from the original lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples and the homeland of the Métis Nation. I would like to begin by acknowledging the elders who opened in prayer and to recognize the members of our Survivors Circle and Governing Circle at the NCTR. I also want to thank the contributions of our elders, knowledge keepers, leaders, activists, and all my relations who have been a part of creating this historic Truth and Reconciliation Week. The National Centre for Truth and Reconciliation was created as part of the mandate of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Canada. The TRC was charged to listen to survivors, their families, communities, and others affected by the residential school system and educate Canadians about their experiences. Our journey of truth and reconciliation includes learning about the history of this nation. This journey is a challenge for all Canadians, including you, but it is also an opportunity to be part of changing the future. Truth and Reconciliation Week is a 5-day national program that will build on the conversations from Every Child Matters. Every day this week will feature a central theme that connects each session and conversation. Themes that include land and treaties, languages and culture, truth and reconciliation, Orange Shirt Day, elders, and youth. We will hear from First Nations, Métis, and Inuit knowledge keepers, authors, filmmakers, youth activities, Indigenous artists, elders, leaders, and many Indigenous voices from coast to coast to coast. We invite everyone to embark on a virtual journey with us where you can take part in different sessions, watch exclusive video content, participate in activities, and experience artistic and cultural performances by diverse First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples. I would like to thank you, the thousands of teachers, educators, administrators, and the provincial and territorial ministries of education. And of course, you, the students, thank you. We are honored that you are inviting us into your classrooms. Finally, I wish to acknowledge the program and marketing partners and the many supporters and sponsors who have made this week's activities possible. Thank you, and miigwech.
Hello, bonjour, udlugut. I am Mary May Simon, Governor General of Canada. I am Inuk, born and raised in Kangaswalutjuaq and Kuujjuaq, 2 small villages in Nunavik in northern Quebec. When I was growing up, this time of year was different than it might be for many of you today. Instead of excitement, September was a time of dread for many Indigenous children in Indigenous communities across Canada. Thousands of children over many decades were ripped from their families and shipped away to residential schools, where they lived for 10 months each year or longer and learned lessons where every attempt was made to strip them of their Indigenous identity and were punished if they were caught speaking their Indigenous languages. They lived far away from home with strangers in an unfamiliar and strange culture, cut off from their culture, languages, and traditions, exposed to abuse. As the child of a white father and an Inuk woman, I was not allowed to attend residential school. I was one of the few kids left in our village, where I was homeschooled by my father. Every Sunday after church, my grandmother would take me and my siblings to visit families in our village. Families who were missing their children because they were taken to residential schools. My siblings and I were embraced like family, but we always knew that we were not the children our neighbors longed to see. We were stand-ins, well-loved substitutes. I remember much sadness, many tears. I share my experience to show that the injustice of residential schools is a living memory and trauma that continues through generations. both in the homes that the children left and in the children that would become victims of a school system that was foreign to them. Sharing stories and learning Canada's full history, including through our education systems and in our history books, are crucial parts of reconciliation. That is a word you've heard often recently. Reconciliation has a simple yet profound meaning. It means getting to know each other, understanding our true past, and working together to create a better future. It is a lifelong journey we must take to heal our country and to rebuild trust. I'm thrilled that you are a part of this journey. Some of you are even helping to lead it. I am wearing orange to mark this important day. I am sure many of you are wearing orange too. Since 2013, many schools and students observe Orange Shirt Day on September 30th. This day exists because students like you took the initiative to bring this story to light. Orange Shirt Day came from the story of Phyllis Webstad, survivor of a residential school in British Columbia. When she was 6 years old, on her first day at residential school, she was stripped of every one of her belongings, including an orange shirt her grandmother had given her. This shirt became a symbol. Soon that symbol became a movement. On Orange Shirt Day, we recognize the suffering and make it clear that every child matters. This year, Orange Shirt Day has grown into something greater. September 30th is the first National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, on which we pause, reflect on the pain of the past, and renew our commitment to the future. As we observe this occasion, I ask you to reflect on our country's full history and commit to heal the divisions and end injustices in our country. I commend you for doing your part by learning about the uncomfortable reality of Canada's past, and I am thrilled to know that Indigenous and non-Indigenous students are learning together. When this program is done, I ask you to continue to learn. Reconciliation is not the work of one day. It is a way of life. Your effort matters. You matter. Keep listening and learning. Pay attention to the current conditions and lived experiences and willing expertise of Indigenous peoples. Build and support Indigenous peoples in their healing journey. Join together in creating the space necessary for us all to heal, accept, and rebuild trust. As we strive to overcome the pain of the past and focus on the promises of the future, we must stand together and move forward with grace and humility. Thank you, merci, Nakormik.
Ani, Cody Purcell, and Indishna Cause, Cody Coyote, and Indishna Cause, Asanio Denin, Anishinaabe, Aki, Nindonji, Ojibwe, Anishinaabe, Nindao, Irish Nindao, Madajwan, Nindonjaba, Makwado Dem. Just saying hello, my English name is Cody Purcell. People know me by Cody Coyote. My spirit name is Stoneheart. I was born and raised in Algonquin Territory, so-called Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. And I'm Ojibwe and Anishinaabe on my father's side, Irish on my mother's side, and I'm from Matachewan First Nation, and I'm Bear Clan. And I'm also a great-grandson of Chief Michel Batiste, who was the first chief of Matachewan First Nation. I was fortunate enough to be involved with RBCX Music and participate in their program. And it's been awesome. You know, they've been such a great help for my career as an individual, but also just seeing what they've done for other artists has been quite wonderful. Several of my family members were taken away to those residential schools and were forced to attend those institutions where they weren't allowed to speak their language, they weren't allowed to practice their culture, they weren't allowed to have their Indigenous identity. Out of 130,000 Indigenous children that were forced to attend these institutions, there was a lot of harm that was caused towards them. And as I've mentioned, there's the intergenerational trauma that's associated with that. If there's one thing that I could touch on right now, friends, is that we're in this pivotal time where we can all walk together and we can move forward in a good way. We can be living harmoniously and understanding each other. And this is just a part of our story that has been long ignored and swept under the rug and pushed off to the side and disregarded. So I encourage you to look within right now. Ask yourself, what am I doing to be an ally? What am I doing to help with this reconciliation process? What am I doing to help implement the 94 calls to action and to move forward in a good way and a Shin way? And I think with that, I want to leave you with some words in the language, and I want to say, Mamawe Wachi Itata. All together we support each other.